John McClain in. McClain in the middle. Shot! Save made Vernon.
That was one-on-one against Bob Rouse, who did not have a stick.
Detroit back in. Oh, Stevens stepped up, nailed him. Brodeur's got the puck. What a shot. Is that Rouse?
Oh, lights out.
No, that is Kozlov.
Oh, baby. The one guy in this league you do not want to put your head down against.
And he shoots and scores! And right now, it's all New Jersey. The championship to New Jersey. The Devils win the Stanley Cup.
The Devils zone, less than a minute to go. 50 seconds remaining. Along the boards it goes to center. Chambers, 2 goals on the night. Dumps it into the Detroit zone with 40 seconds to go. 20 seconds to go. 13 seconds to go. Bouncing puck at the Detroit line. Ramsey will circle into his own end. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And the oldest trophy repeated for in North America. Morgan Stanley has made his way to the Lincoln Tunnel, to the Meadowlands, to the Garden State. The New Jersey Devils are the 1995 Stanley Cup champions.
Now Stevens for New Jersey held it into the left point. Flipped it right through the goal mouth area. Elias is going to chase it down out front to Arden. He scored! Jason Arden has scored! And the Devils have won the Cup! The Devils win it 2-1! And the Stanley Cup has fallen from the stars! The new millennium has its first Stanley Cup champion! And it's the New Jersey Devils!
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
The New Jersey Devils are the 2003 Stanley Cup champions!
Welcome.
Thank you. Intro for the video. There's some shit that I want to get into. Everybody is talking about the Super Bowl right now. Not me. I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. We will get to that in a second. Just because I realized I should have opened the tab before I started running my mouth. But here we are. I'm going to have to open up 2 of them. Got to scoot the mic a little bit. Sorry about that. I'll try to edit out the noise. How many players? Okay, so now we're going to do a comparison. Okay, so there's a reason why I brought this up. Is because yesterday was the Super Bowl, right? Trying to figure out how to watch it, I stumbled across the Yahoo Sports app, which I'm going to be giving a test run tomorrow because there's a Devils game that's going to be on, and I don't know if I'll be able to watch it. That would be cool if I could. Although, I have to tell you, it's ugly. It's really fucking ugly. Like, dude, come on, man. Look, we're not even in the top 5 in the Eastern Conference. Well, that's the Atlantic Division. We wouldn't be in the Atlantic Division. We'd be in the Metropolitan Division, which, as you can see, the Devils are dead last. The Capitals, the Penguins, the Blue Jackets, the Islanders, yuck. Hurricanes, Flyers, gross, and the Rangers, nasty, are ahead of us. We're not doing very good in the standings. I mean, 18 wins, 24 losses, 9 overtime losses. Dude, shootouts kill the Devils almost as much as their fucking shots on goal in the past couple seasons. I haven't kept up on stats or listened to any games this year because I have to figure out where to position the radio to listen to it, because like an old man, I listen to sports on the fucking radio when they play it. If you're unaware, WFAN Sports Radio 66 plays during football season. They play Giants games, even though I'm a Jets fan, and they also play New Jersey Devils games. They put the broadcast on the channel. Pretty sure they still do. I have to find where to stick it in here where I can get some goddamn reception, because when we lived in the house, I had my radio on the kitchen table by the back door, which picked up a signal pretty nicely, but in an apartment complex that's behind a gang of condo buildings, there's not really a whole lot of room for signal, so I gotta figure that out. But the point is, I was looking up to see where the Devils are in the standings, because I noticed whenever the Devils or the Jets are doing very bad, when I wear the gear out and about, because I'm not a fucking fair weather fan, people look at me like I'm crazy. And I have the Brooklyn Nets jersey on top of that, and I saw in passing today, Kyrie Irving has a fucking knee injury, pretty sure, which I'll have to pull that up also. Now, I'm not the sports podcast guy, but, you know, I try to keep up at least with what the teams that I really like. Brooklyn Nets point guard Kyrie Irving suffered a right knee sprain, was ruled out for the ending of Saturday's loss against the Wizards. Okay, so that sucks. I don't know where the Nets are in the basketball world, but I'm sure they're fucked. But that's nothing new. If you kept up on any basketball at all, you would know that when Kyrie Irving was with the Cavaliers, his knee was a problem, and I believe he also played for Boston as well, and it was a problem there too. Again, I'm not the sports podcast guy, but I bring this up because when I was looking up the standings for the Devils, kind of checked in on everything a little bit, and I saw an article that said, I can't remember the other guy, and I never say this dude's name right, so I don't want to butcher it. Let's just put in the Jersey Devils. Let's see what comes up. Do ex-Devils Scott Stevens and Patrick Ellis, I'm sure I'm saying it, Elias, however the fuck you say his last name, have any interest in coaching? This got me thinking about the NFL. And while I'm not a die-hard watch every fucking game ever, I mean, there's a whole backstory to sports in general, but I don't want to get into that right now, or shit that I've done in the past. We're talking about what's happening right now, okay? And looking through their schedule for the fourth time that I say it, I see this article. Do these guys have any interest in coaching? And my mind automatically goes to Todd Bowles, who used to be the head coach for the New York Jets. who is now gone. It goes to Tom Coughlin, who is probably most famously known for coaching the fucking Giants during their Super Bowl wins, I think. Don't quote me on that. Again, passing interest, people, okay? I'm not a diehard, but I ride for my fucking teams through whatever. The Jets haven't won a Super Bowl since the fucking 60s, and the New Jersey Devils are making it their social media presence to display the fact that they have indeed won a Stanley Cup at some point in the last 20 years. But who can blame them for that? But it got me thinking, like, dude, why would these two guys, who are loved by the New Jersey Devils fan base, why would they go and fuck that up? People love these dudes. I have Patrick's fucking jersey that my brother got me like 4 Christmases ago, and I wear that shit all of the time. All the time. Winning, losing, it doesn't fucking matter. I don't care. Interestingly enough, look at that. There's a parallel. New Jersey Devils are a professional ice hockey team based in Newark, New Jersey. Their water is fucked, by the way. Compete in the National Hockey League as a member of the Metropolitan Division of the Eastern Conference. Where's the connection, sir? You might be asking yourself. The club was founded as the Kansas City Scouts in Kansas City, Missouri in 1974. Ironically, Kansas City, Missouri, a place that President Trump confused with Kansas City, Kansas, is also coincidentally the home of the Kansas City fucking Chiefs, who are the Super Bowl, I almost said presidents. I almost said 2 things wrong. I don't even know what the first attempt out of my face was about to be, but it for sure wasn't Super Bowl. Anyway, congratulations to them. I was rooting for you. I feel for the 49ers because I pulled for them too. You know, because obviously my team is the Jets. We weren't there, and the 49ers deserve it after the last couple of seasons that they had, that they even made it to the fucking Super Bowl, even though they gave it up in the end. They gave up the goods at prom night. Rough. I actually had to try to find a way to watch that game in its entirety. Whole different story, not really important right now. What's important is why these 2 dudes would decide that they would go into coaching. They haven't. This was put out on... go fuck yourself. It wants me to take off my ad blocker. You know what? I don't want to. So, let me just see if it's still on my phone. I had it pulled up. I don't know where it went. Let me try to hit the back arrow. Nope, that didn't work. Is the tab still open? Yeah, okay. No. Yes. Okay, I got it. So whatever, fuck that. It's on my phone. I'll just read it from my phone, because I'm not going to read the whole thing. I just want to touch up on this. Plenty of Devils fans are dying to see the team's legends Scott Stevens and Patrick Ellis. Is that how you say it? I don't... Alright. I don't fucking know. Son of a bitch. How else do you fucking pronounce it? You know what? Let's put this fucking matter to bed right now, because I'm not going to be able to continue unless I know how to say it right, because people are going to be fucking fairies in the comment section. They'd be like, you're saying it wrong, asshole. You look high as fuck. Alright, man. See, now the Chiefs guy is all over the place. Eli. All I want is the pronunciation of his name, so let's click on something that hopefully won't get blocked.
punched ahead. Batted down by Zajac. Great job to control the puck. Puts the brakes on. Picks up Elias. Scores! Patrick Elias! And
Elias. Whatever the fuck. Okay. There it is. Why would he give up the idea that the entire fan base loves this dude because he was on the fucking team when they won the goddamn cup, which I think they have 2 of them. Because I remember in 2000s. (2000, 2003? Yeah. Okay, yeah, they do have 3. 20 seasons, New Jersey led the Devils, 3 Stanley Cup championships in 95, 2000, 2003, 5 Eastern Conference titles, and 17 playoff appearances. Which, I mean, dude, it's rough. But anyway, the point is, you don't hear, in the NFL, you hear about coaches that have been players before. Not a lot of them. John Elway did it with the Broncos, I'm pretty sure. Let's just double check that. How come they don't ever put it in a way that is easy for an idiot like me to find the answer that I'm looking for? I don't want the worst coaches ever, just the ones that used to be players. Because I'm trying to illustrate a point here, if you don't mind. Ben McAdoo, he got tossed real quick. So did Chip Kelly. That was a nightmare, by the way, with your fucking dietary ordeal. Ridiculous. Belichick, everybody knows him. Rex Ryan. If you know anything about the Jets, you know who the fuck Rex Ryan is. If not the Jets, then for his later term in Buffalo and his hatred for fucking New England. I didn't know Bill O'Brien played. Okay, but you could sing. Shit, Andy Reid. He's the one that just won the ring. Good for him. John Fox. Jesus Christ. He looks like the dude from Dumb and Dumber. Look at those pictures, man. Oh, man, hold on. Let me make my head small real quick. Look at that. Look at that. Dumb and Dumber meets Napoleon Dynamite meets the Waterboy. Or is John Elway the fucking owner and he's not a coach and I'm an asshole? You're probably right. Pete Carroll, Seahawks. Jim Caldwell, Lions. He's been there forever. Sean Payton. Come on, man. I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was. I didn't know Jason Garrett played football. I know Todd Bowles coached the Arizona Cardinals for a while. I didn't know he was a player. I know, big pun easily pops in my head too. But the point is, not a lot of these motherfuckers go on coaching. More in the NFL than the NHL for sure. Because there's 32 teams in the NFL and only 15. No, okay, never mind. I thought it said 15. 20 of the current head coaches have won at least one Super Bowl with either a head coach, assistant coach, or as a player. That's not helpful. 4 have participated in at least one season. So let's say that there's 4 players that went on to coach that played at least one season in the NFL. Not that many. In the NHL, it's not. Look at this. Of the NHL's 30 current head coaches, 13 have played 100 games or more in the NHL. This is not. Look, I was talking with Demos about this the other day, dude. There's not. This is like sports is like, we didn't talk about sports, but I'm saying sports in this instance is like music. Not every person who was a musician, is a rapper, whatever, is gonna then go on to produce and put on other rappers. I.e., Dre is a good example of that. I would think Busta runs Violator, but I have no idea, so I can't say 100% for sure. Who else is there? Does Scarface own Rap a Lot? I don't know. I know JD is definitely, I'm pretty sure. How many rappers? 23 rappers who started as producers. That's kind of interesting. Dre would be one of them. I'm pretty sure. Alright, here we go. Jermaine Dupri. Kid Capri, I didn't know you rap. Pharrell, I should have known. Fucking Clips. 45 King. Knots. Self-titled. I didn't know he was a producer before he was a rapper. Rubik's Cuban. Only rapper from Tampa, Florida that will ever produce. Gathering Strong, blah, 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 blah. That's not really that hopeful. Tony Touch. Alchemist. He's a producer, but he's not really a rapper though, right? I've only heard of that guy making beats. I've never listened to Manny Fresh. Alright, that's another big one that I know, but that shows my age because he's big for Cash Money. Him and Birdman. I think. Okay, I'm not really doing a fantastic. P. Diddy. How the fuck do you forget about Puff? Jay Dilla, I know. Dre, I know. The Beatnuts make good fucking beats. I didn't know they were rappers though. Kanye West. I don't even see that. Those are so obvious. I almost didn't even consider them because I think of them producing before I think of their rap records. Which I know you could be like, how do you not think about Kanye's music before his production? Well, because I think his production is actually good versus his songs are not. But that's just my opinion. Way before all this bullshit with Trump and all the crazy shit that he's doing now, before it was cool to hate Kanye West, I didn't like him really. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple of songs that he's done that I like. I'm not gonna lie to you. Runaway is a good one, but that's a song that everybody fucking likes. But he has made a lot of good beats. Anyway, the point is, whether you're a rapper or you're a fucking person who plays sports, it's not very common that you would then go on to coach. For one, I would imagine, look, I know what you're thinking, the same thing I'm probably thinking. Well, I know what I'm thinking. I don't know what you're thinking. But, well, if you're on one side of the puck or the ball, wouldn't it be easier to then go on the other side and coach? I don't know. I mean, how many boxers go on to be fight promoters? Not a lot of them, right? They all fight. I know, granted, one thing has really nothing to do with the other. Well, De La Hoya, he made Golden Boy, right? That's got to be a big deal. I know Mayweather had motherfuckers in his camp. But that's as far as my knowledge goes, so I really should not have brought that up. But, it's not easy. I would imagine it's easier to be a player, I would think, because you go in, you play as hard as you can. You either win, you lose, you close the books, and that's it. Everybody else has to study film, write out game plans, and do all that type of shit. It can't be easy to do, especially if you are loved by the team that you played for. Not that many people, I think, can actually say that. Like Elway, I'm pretty sure I didn't check that. I didn't fact check that. This actually should go under the ignorance category because I'm saying shit that I cannot necessarily back up to be true. Does John Elway own the Broncos? Oh, he's an American quarterback who is a general manager and president of football operations for Denver. Okay, so he doesn't own... I didn't know that. See what I mean? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But if you're heavy into sports, dude, you know, you probably already knew that. Good for you. But, like, why... It's just easier. If you've already played the game, like, I don't think Broncos fans go on and hate John Elway for decisions that are made. Where if you're a fucking coach, everybody wants your head every fucking week, sometimes even when you win. Because your wins were not pretty. They were really damn ugly, and sometimes the other team just lets it go a little bit. Just enough for you to be able to slide in. That happens sometimes. Not all the time. But, I mean, dude, it's got to be a completely different animal. And besides, if you're a former player and then you got to coach new players, I would imagine it would be very rare that you would find yourself in a position where you could coach people you used to play with. Because now you're being looked at as the guy who's old and washed up, and that's not how we play the game anymore, Pops. So, step aside. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know, even when you are as good as, say, a Tom Coughlin, which we're going to look up his record right now. Because I'm pretty sure it's good. I know he went to Super Bowls, I believe also with Jacksonville as well, but I could be wrong. I thought that said, are you a shithead? I was about to be like, how do they know? Alright, how many fucking... This is no good. How the hell am I supposed to figure this out? I'm not the numbers guy. I don't know how somebody looks at something like this and gets excited about it. This bothers me. I don't need any of this right now. This is structure, and structure sucks. Because it makes you feel confined even, to a space. So, hold on. I saw 2 Super Bowl championships with the Giants, and the Jaguars were in the playoffs, I'm pretty sure, fairly recently, if I'm not out of my fucking mind. But this is not about the NFL, it's about the NHL. So why do you keep bringing it up? Well, because I know slightly more about the NFL than I do the NHL. Well, then why don't you go and talk about that? Because it's easier. Because, goddammit, New Jersey only has the Devils. Or the fucking Blue Claws, which is a minor league baseball team. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm happy that they exist. From what I understand, people play in the majors, and then people from, I think, AAA, AA, whatever the fuck it's called. They're not batteries. But, you know, the people that run the scouting programs go to the minor leagues, and they catch these people, they scoop them up, and that's how they play. And I had a friend that used to play hockey when we were younger, which would have been fucking awesome if he would have went on to play in the NHL. And he could have. I honestly believe that he could have. I don't know what his record is. I would love to talk to him one day, but that's not going to happen. Because we're not really tight anymore, unfortunately. Because he moved to fucking Florida, where the goddamn Tampa Bay Lightning are. Fuck those people. And whatever the other bullshit hockey Florida team that always winds up fucking my New Jersey Devils right in their ass. Fuck them too. But you know, I know a little bit more about the NFL. It's easier to follow along. Alright, nobody really pumps up the NHL. Which I gotta start following into this because this is our only fucking team. We had the New Jersey Nets. And apparently not enough people went to watch them play, so then Brooklyn took them. Surprise, surprise. New York is fucking everything. They have the Giants that were supposed to originally be a New Jersey team through some negotiation, but the only reason why MetLife Stadium even landed where it is because the person that owns the fucking Giants said to the people who run New Jersey, we'll give you a stadium, but only if we're able to keep the Giants as the New York Giants. We don't want your fucking filth on our name. So, whatever. That sucks. I'm a Jets fan. Whatever. Be mad at that if you want. But we have the fucking Devils, dude. And I've never been to a hockey game, professional hockey game, in my life. I used to go to my boy's practice sometimes. He used to get in a crazy amount of fucking fights, dude. He used to talk about it all the time. He seemed so happy at first. And then eventually, the reason why he didn't go pro and he dropped out, despite having talent, was he got bored. And he realized fairly quickly, the second you get an injury, you're completely fucked. Like, you can wind up dedicating your entire life to this fucking sport, hurt yourself once badly, and that's a wrap for your entire fucking career. Now you have nothing else going on in your life, and you'll sit and reminisce in a fucking puddle of alcohol, probably, thinking about the quote-unquote glory days of when you were a player. And besides that, not everybody makes it. But, you know, that would be an interesting conversation to have with him if our paths cross again. I mean, I could call him, but the dude's busy. He's got a fucking life. He's running a business. He's succeeding in his own way, right? So we don't have time to really converse. Or rather, he doesn't really want to talk to me. He would just rather I go to Florida and live there and hang out with him rather than talk over the fucking phone. Because every time I've ever talked to him, he's like, oh, you need to move down here and fuck that place. They don't have nothing there. Which, I mean, in a lot of ways, I can't argue with you. But we got the Devils, motherfucker. That's got to count for something. Shit. And we better enjoy it, because before we know it, somebody will come along and take them too. Fucking ridiculous. Oddly enough, I was wearing my Devils jersey and my my Devils hoodie and my Elias jersey over it in my doctor's appointment today. And she walked in and she looked at it for a few minutes and she pointed and said, "That's the Devils, right?" No, it's not, is it? I'm like, yeah. She's like, hockey? He's like, yeah. She goes, oh, okay. I can never get these things right. I'm not really a sports. I'm like, dude, okay. You're not, that doesn't surprise me. You know what I mean? A lot of doctors now, I've only met a couple of them, actually. And then I think about it, it seems like dudes that are doctors that are really into sports are like middle-aged white guys. I'm not saying that there aren't black doctors or Spanish doctors that are into it. I just haven't met any of them. But I'm sure they're out there. Or Indian doctors or whatever the fuck else. But a lot of doctors now aren't usually from America. They're from other countries with heavy accents, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you can't have a conversation with that person about your local sports team because they'll have no idea what the fuck it is that you're talking about. But, you know, we were having a conversation about it, and she said that she did go to a hockey game once, and it was really exciting. Her friends were pumped because 3 or 4 fights broke out during the game, and she didn't understand how that was permitted or why people got excited about it. But, I mean, whatever. So we got to talking about it in the moment before shit got serious. But, you know, when I mentioned I never have gone to a game, I said it's also because Newark is a very sketchy place. And it slowly seems to be turning into a Flint, Michigan situation. Now, I have no idea what the fuck happened in Flint, Michigan. Corrupt politicians, dirty water. That's what I think I know. Dirty water for sure, 100%. And you don't compare the two places, but Newark is definitely heading in that direction. I mean, for fuck's sake, dude. Me and Jen, I can't even tell you the last time we used tap water to even boil for anything other than cleaning a surface. Because we sure as fuck don't cook with it, and we don't drink it either. Aside from the fact that we used to get letters in the mail when we lived in Ocean Gate about how the water is contaminated with high amounts of lead or maybe gasoline out in Bayville or whatever the fuck it is, because nobody seems to stop and think what is going to happen if you put a gas station directly outside of a neighborhood that probably runs parallel with the fucking neighborhood's water supply. Or a mechanic shop. In Ocean Gate, there's a mechanic shop, and then right next to it is a fucking market/deli. It's like Wawa if Wawa was split into two completely separate places, and instead of selling gas, they fucked you over and fixed your car. Essentially. I don't know what all this has to do with hockey, but look, man, this is the way my brain works, alright? As I said in the beginning like 8 times, I'm not the sports guy. So if you're looking for in-depth team analysis, bench talk, championship flashbacks, memories of times in history within sports, you, my friend, have clicked on the wrong fucking page. I, much like the average person across the globe, whether you're in the UK and you watch rugby, or you're an American and you watch football or the NHL, despite the fact that it's extremely underrated, the NHL is, people talk about it being boring, or complicated. The complicated part I can understand, but the NFL is not exactly easy either. In one way, they're both the same, except, okay, net, neutral zone. You can, I guess, compare the net in the NHL to a fucking field goal in football. That's the closest they get. But the rules are fucking ridiculous. You can't focus on that shit. And I would argue there's way more action in hockey, despite the fact that it's like soccer on ice, where most of it is just going back and forth, fighting over the puck. It's not like there's a goal every fucking 5 minutes, which in football now there's an ad every 5 minutes instead of action. So, I mean, I'm not even joking. I know I think it's toward the end of the season anyway, and 90% of the time my team sucks dick, but I'm pretty sure we did make it to either right outside the playoffs or in the first round of the playoffs for the last 3 or 4 years, excluding 2019, I think. What was the last year Devils were in the playoffs? And I spelled a whole bunch of shit wrong, so I gotta fix this. 2018 was the last time they were in the playoffs, and they lost in the first round. They've been in the playoffs a total of 22 times in their 36 seasons. On paper, that's not that bad. That means we're generally around the action. I mean, we went in 94, we went in 2000, and then we went again in 03. There's been a decent gap, but at least we've been. And when I say we, I mean the team as a whole in the general area of where they're fucking representing from. I'm not on the goddamn team, but motherfucker, I wear my jersey without shame any time of the fucking year. I don't care if it's the one time of the year, which I don't even know what people call it. Let's look. Let's look and see. Let's look and see. I know there's one time in the year where I'm pretty sure every sport is off. Like, there's nothing happening. I don't know how to word this the right way. Or I really should say when baseball, the NHL, and the NFL are off. I don't know about basketball. Fuck. I don't know how to write this. I would love to be able to put it in so that I can... What time of the year are all sports off season? Maybe? No. Which sport has the shortest and longest off season? What are the various months of sports in the United States? Maybe this will tell me. Let's click on this. I will just make a reference to 4 major sports leagues in America. Season begins in spring training in February, that's baseball. Expedition games are played in February and March. The regular season begins in early April, ends in September, playoffs October, World Series. NFL starts in July, ends in February now, which was the fucking Super Bowl that just happened. Or it might end in January usually, whenever the fuck it is, I don't know. National Hockey League starts with training camp. Expedition games in mid-September. Season starts the second week of October, ends in April, almost immediately after the regular season. So it seems like everything pretty much gets started around June. April, May, June. So maybe, no, March Madness, that's college though. So does that count? I don't think so, because we're not talking about, that's not official. Damn, I wish I knew a better way to write this. I don't. Anyway, I don't know. This is a mess. This is an entire blobbering mess about sports, and none of it really means anything other than the fact that I'm disgusted at the NFL. I'll keep my Jets hoodie. I'll wear it with pride, even though my team is a metaphoric dumpster fire and has been for quite some time. You know, what are you going to do? There's not much you can do. They got a Super Bowl back in the 60s. It is what it is. The Devils, I think I'm going to switch to hockey just to see if Yahoo will play the games so that I can at least watch my team. I'll do it. The commercials cannot be anywhere near as bad as they are in the NFL. And as I say that, somebody is probably queuing up commercials to play for me the second that I go to fucking start a goddamn game. It's ridiculous. But dude, I mean, it literally feels like every 3 minutes is 6 commercials in a row for the NFL. It's to the point where the Super Bowl has become more talk about the ads than the actual fucking game, which is ridiculous. I mean, everybody turns their back on hockey. I don't know why. Maybe it's because most people probably don't like ice skating. That could be. Street hockey is kind of fun. I mean, other than that, everybody plays fucking football with their friends usually, or with their family on holidays, whatever. So there's some shit, but I mean, dude, I gotta I gotta tune in, not just to give them the ratings, but, I mean, and you know what? Since we're on fucking sports, dude, the Rutgers team fucking blows. Blows. Worse than the Jets and the Devils are the fucking Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, New Jersey, dude. And that's not where they're from. That's what the fuck I'm calling it. They're goddamn terrible. So you can turn your back on hockey all you want. At least we got a goddamn representative here. Okay? I mean, dude, I'm proud to be able to represent a fucking sports team. I know stadiums are a goddamn nightmare for the places that they are in. But, I mean, dude, this is the one thing that we got until somebody takes this away from us. However long that is going to be for. And I want to go to a game in the worst way, which I don't even think I finished my point. I was talking to the doctor about this earlier, and somebody else that was in the room, a nurse, whatever the fuck you would call that person, was talking about how he went to the Prudential Center, which is where the Devils play in Newark, New Jersey, and he said they basically have mapped it out so that you don't really have to go into the city, that it's a straight shot from the stadium in and out, which that's good to know. I have no idea how the fuck I would get there. Or, you know, let's just see. I just want to see how much tickets are. I can't imagine that they're cheap. Let's see if anything comes up. You know what? Fuck StubHub because they overcharge. Let's just click on this. Even though now this is going to target me with 100 ads about buying sports tickets that I can't waste money on. Because there would be no way for me to get there even if I wanted to. Alright, they're playing the Canadians. Let's say we're going to go to this game. Let's just see. The fact that it's taken this long. Let's say I want 2 tickets. We'll just pretend that Jen's gonna go with me. Okay. So, all the way in the back starts at $11, I would assume. Second row from the back is $16. All the way up to the glass is $146. What is this over here? $30. So it's not actually that. What about side seats? I mean, maybe that's affordable. If it's only like $20 a ticket, we could do that. Although I would like to see if you would be able to even see anything. It seems like you wouldn't. It's got to be a fucking nightmare to go into this place. Everybody's hammered. I had to ask my neighbor because he's gone to the game before. That is definitely something I would like to do in the future. Maybe I can talk to my brother. I'll get the money together if he would ever want to go to a game. And I'll fucking buy his ticket and he brings us over. Because I would take the bus. But again, this is going out to Newark and I don't know. The place is sketchy. I've been to Penn Station. That was rough business, dude. I'm really not trying to get lost in a place like that. You know, there was a time we were lost in one of the oranges. Don't remember which one. Crackheads appeared out of nowhere with bulging eyeballs. It was fucking... That was sketchy. I understand it's 2 different places, but it's enough. I mean, dude... I know... I didn't even really make a conversation out of this. Which, the article basically says that this guy would not... Neither of them are really considering going into coaching. They just don't. They did what they wanted to do, and that's it. And they probably don't want to hate. I would much rather be able to show up to home games or whatever the fuck it is that these players do, or have a celebratory night about when we won the cup, and people can celebrate my number and my jersey, and leave it at that. Why go and ruin it and get a bunch of people mad at you for attempting to coach with salary caps and everything fucking else that goes on? I'm sure there's a lot of shit. Definitely doesn't seem to be worth it. But you know what? But I guess I don't really have anywhere that this conversation can go. So I'm just gonna... I'll put this out as is, as a mini podcast. You know, what I originally wanted to do with the mini podcast was I wanted to follow the Devils games, watch them, talk about them a little bit, but then I realized I don't know enough about sports in general, let alone hockey, or have a guaranteed ability that I'm going to be able to listen to every game, which I know is fucking impossible. And besides, then you just get a bunch of people aggravated, and I don't want to be confined to one specific topic. I'd rather just be able to switch it up as I go along. But I hope, for the team's sake, that they get back into the playoffs and get to the fucking Stanley Cup again soon. I mean, 2003, I was supposed to graduate high school. It's 2020. We're a decent time away from the last time that the Devils have won a cup. But at least we've been. And I know that's probably not a winner mentality, but I'm not ungrateful. At least we've been to the fucking dance, dude. You know what I mean? Not everybody can be the Blackhawks, where you pretty much just show up out of fucking nowhere, and then all of a sudden you just skate your way right into the Stanley Cup final. You know what? Let's see. NHL. When I know they won it recently. I'm pretty sure. I could be entirely wrong about that. It might not have been recent at all. Blackhawks win 2015 Stanley Cup. See, and to me, that feels like it was yesterday. It was like 5 years ago, and yes, I just counted on my fingers and probably still got it wrong. Special ed education, public school. What do you want from me? It's not easy to do. I wonder how long they've been an organization for. Let's just see. I remember being happy for these guys when they won it, but I really didn't give a shit because it's not my team. Although I think who did they play? Did they play Florida? Is that how they got me to root for them? It's entirely possible. Yup. They were playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. Fuck that goddamn team.
None on that. They've waited a long time for this to be at home. Slipped in front and Crawford another block.
Shit.
5 to go. For the third time in 6 years, the Blackhawks are Stanley Cup champions.
For the third time in 6 years. That's crazy. But fuck the Tampa Bay Lightning, dude. New Jersey Devils all day in the fucking house. Even though, look, this team was legendary when they were around, dude. You can say whatever the fuck you want, but I'm proud to be able to fucking represent them. So, get mad at me all you want, and this had absolutely nothing to do with players being coaches, but whatever. Sometimes the conversation goes where it goes, and I realize, I mean, I've talked long enough for it to be able to be made into something. Maybe it'll be a mini podcast. Maybe it'll be a full-length podcast. At this point, it doesn't really matter. I could throw a break in here for plugs at some point and probably hit the hour mark. But I'm still going to shuffle it under an ignorance episode, so I probably should just put it out. Maybe I'll put it out tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Because the ignorance was supposed to be its own separate thing. Fuck. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'm not really worried about it. I actually have to cut clips for this week for the Instagram and the Twitter. So if you're not following those accounts, if you're not aware, when I have an episode that is already set to go for an upcoming Saturday like I do this week, which would be on the 8th, I think. Yeah. February 8th, 2020. Will be the holiday aftermath of recapping fucking Christmas. But if I have one already in the bank, I'll cut clips for it so that you can have it as a prelude before the episode during the week. So follow the Twitter and the Instagram. That's what those are for. Outside of that, I do Instagram live sometimes. I put artwork up on the channel that Jen makes, which is pretty cool. So check that shit out. Other than that, I'm not going to allow a social media presence to become everything that I worry about and everything that I do. I understand there are some people that are successful because they work the social media angle. I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience to do that. Because then what you do is you wind up focusing in on numbers, and it's fucking depressing. Because it doesn't matter how many you have, eventually you'll just be like, oh great, it's not growing anymore. And that's crazy to think. It just sucks the joy right out of it. So some people are worried about TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, whatever the fuck else is going out in the world. I'm not. You get a clip maybe once a week. If not, there are places that you can fucking reach me at. You can throw ideas on there if you want to. You don't have to. Do whatever you want. There's old videos up on the YouTube channel, Jacko and Trade. Check that shit out. You know, other than that, this is what we do, man. I mean, I have a couple of subjects written down that I could eventually get into. Although I probably... Nah, I'll save the doctor's appointment thing for another time. Well, I'll just quickly... The doctor was basically like, dude, you haven't been back to the neurologist. What are you doing? And I'm like, well, I don't want the medicine because of the side effects. And she was like, all right, well, then I guess there's really no point in you going and seeing a neurologist because you're not going to listen to any of the advice that they have to give you. So I guess just keep doing what you're doing and hope it doesn't get worse. And I'm like, all right, that's one way to put it. I mean, she's not wrong, but I don't know. It's depressing. It's exploration for another episode when we can actually look at some of these medicines and weigh the side effects and go through my logic of thinking, because I'm in pain every day. That's just a fact of my life. It's what it is. No shot is gonna fix that. Claims to slow down the progression of a fucking disease. Does it? Doesn't it? I don't know. But it compromises my immune system. Vomiting, blisters, having to inject myself. There's just a lot of kooky shit that goes along with doing that. And I'm not necessarily comfortable with it, to be quite honest with you. Don't get me wrong. I like walking around. But I don't think that the medicine is going to stop me from a wheelchair. And we've already talked about the doctor originally told me that the medication has the tendency to wake the fucking disease out of dormancy, which the doctors seem to conveniently forget about that when they're trying to coerce me into going on medicine. Right now it's okay. Maybe one day it wakes up and I can't walk anymore. I can't speak anymore. Maybe, but I'm worried about today. I'm worried about right now. I can't worry about what's going to happen 20 years from now. I try to keep my brain sharp and talk about random shit. Throw drops in the podcast for fun. Enjoy life little by little. Instead of worrying about something that is just going to haunt me the rest of my life anyway. Hopefully this November, weed's legalized. Maybe that will help my function. You never know. I mean, at this rate, the pills are going to do me in. You don't even have to abuse them for them to be destroying your fucking body. Who the hell knows? But there was a mentioning of a diet, which I wanted to dive into as well. But, you know, when we go over medicines, we can talk about the diet, which, briefly looking up into it for all of 2 seconds, it basically says white meat, turkey, grilled chicken, stuff with visible fat on it. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but that's basically what is good for you, which I'm assuming is a protein diet, which I also then assume makes your muscles not as easy to deteriorate. I have no fucking idea, dude. And to be honest with you, this whole idea of this thing scares the shit out of me. So, you know, that's what it is. But look, I don't want to drag this thing down. We're just at about an hour mark, so you know what? I'm not going to drop plugs in the middle of it. I mentioned this shit towards the end. I'll just leave it at that. Because this will be an hour by the time I officially stop. I might as well wait. It's at 59 minutes and 15 seconds right now. So I might as well push for the full hour. So this will be an episode of a podcast. Was it going to be called? I have no idea. Was it informative? I guess that depends on how you perceive the word informative, right? Maybe there was shit in here that I mentioned you didn't know. Maybe this is what a modern day internet search looks like. Maybe you don't give a shit about football or hockey at all. And you know, you're like, all right, well, I got all the information I need out of this, and that's it. I don't know, but I don't like to get wrapped up in shit too much, especially not here when I have to try to make eventually a point about something, which this one is not. This stands behind the randomness that is this fucking podcast. That is the YouTube channel. That is pretty much everything that I do. But it went by rather quickly, I have to say. I honestly thought at around the 20-minute mark I was going to die a slow death for 10 more minutes. And then I was just going to shut this off. But I made it. We made it for an hour. So there that is. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you didn't, you didn't. There's a video up on the YouTube right now, I should mention, which is about pork roll versus Taylor ham. And that's the other thing, too. Fuck, I need a drink. Maybe I'll write that down as... I'm going to write this down as a separate thing for another day. Hold on. It's about Chris Gethard and comedy. But we'll save that for a different show because to be honest with you, I just don't really feel like talking anymore right now. I exhausted the tiniest flame of an idea that I had, and that's it. I'm good now. So, from the past see you in the future, probably in March, someplace, wherever that's going to be, because February is all booked up. Bro, we are just fucking flying through the months at this point, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it is what it is. Laughing at Birds podcast. If this is not one of the most random podcasts that there is, I mean, isn't that basically what podcasts are? I'm not going to worry about it too much. At least I distracted you for an hour. If all else has failed, I'll see you next week.